I am your host, Daniel Atai. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is planning to inject 57,023 polling units across the 774 local government areas of Nigeria. INEC said the proposed plan is to allow more voters' participation in electing those who lead them. However, analysts are of the view that INEC should address the issues of digital voting system and pause until the Electoral Reform Act is passed into law. What is your take in this? Welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. Don't go away. As we take a short break, I have two gentlemen in the studio who shall be doing justice to this topic when we return. Please stay tuned.
Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality productions to clients from all sectors of life. We are experts in program streaming, event coverage, news reporting, adverts, documentaries, personality profiling, skits, and jingles. You can advertise now on Television Nigerian network platforms or sponsor programs like The Patriot, Spectacle, Business Daily, Security Dossier, and other programs. To publicize your business from ground state to the zenith, we have the capacity to introduce, promote, and publicize your businesses to increase patronage. We associate with quality to attract clients like you. Television Nigerian is your media solution. For bookings, advert placements, and further inquiries, please contact 080-3071-6959 or 070-3462-5838 or 070-5432-7616 or visit us at the Guzupi Hilltop Mansion, the Television Nigerian House, on the address shown on your screen. Television Nigerian, broadcasts beyond boundaries.
Welcome back. I have two gentlemen in the studio, like I said before. By my immediate right is Angbo Kennedy. He is a politician and a political analyst. And by my far right is Emmanuel Abba. Emmanuel Abba is a digital voting system analyst. Kennedy and Emmanuel, both of you are welcome to Spectacle.
My pleasure. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're discussing before the technical hiccup, and I was asking you that between creating more polling units and creating more biodata for electorates so that more people, like INEC said, they want this exercise to be completed so that more people could vote in 2023 and onward. Which one do you think could make voters' participation in electoral processes? Mr. Kennedy.
Okay, so I was waiting for
yes.
Okay, for me, it's not a question of whether the creation of new polling units are important or not. If we go by the reason they gave for the creation of the polling units, then I think we are missing the point completely, because the reason why people are not voting is, or voter apathy is on the rise, it's not because of enough or lack of enough polling units. I think that there are different factors responsible for why there is voter apathy, and we need to look into those things. And I think that INEC is being a little bit too patronizing and a little bit lazy about the issue of why people are not coming out to vote. You need to do research, and I don't think that the research department of INEC is doing enough job, because if they do their research, they would know that the problem is not lack of polling units. Well, the issue of electronic voting has been one that has been there with us for a long time. I mean, look at the card reader issue that we started in 2011 with, 11-15. I mean, by 2019, we jettisoned that completely. And so these are areas we need to look at. But for me, why are people not coming out to vote? First of all, people want to see that the elections and the processes are credible. That's very important, because the psyche of the electorate is that what I'm going out to spend my time, my resources, my whole day that I can't to go and vote, will it stand? And so people come and say, you know what, this is the last time I'm voting for in any election, because my votes don't count. And so INEC needs to make sure that the votes of the people, the electorates who go out to stand in the sun, scorching sun, and sometimes even in the rain, should count. Those are some of the reasons you look at. But let's look at the face value of it. We have over almost 120,000 polling units in Nigeria. Is that enough, truly speaking? I can take an example from my place. There are two contiguous villages in my place, in my ward, that I know that people cross the bridge to go and vote in another, well, from Umajaga, and go to Ibeji to go and vote, because they are not enough at that polling unit or in that village to constitute a polling unit. Now, one of the problems with that is that people would not want to cross the river just to go and cast a vote, in their thinking, because we have not even done enough with civic education, educating people on the needs of their right to go and vote and be voted for. And so people are dissuaded because of this. So yes, there's a need for more polling units to be created. But the problem with what I am seeing with this is that they are not creating any new polling units. These 57,000 new units, so-called, that they are talking about, are already in existence. What they want to do now is to legalize or legitimize what already is in existence. And so my concern is, in as much as that might be necessary, can we make the process seamless for people to also get involved? The millennials really want to get involved in politics. They want to vote and be voted for. But a lot of them do not subscribe to the current system of voting. Now, if you trace the history of voting and polling units across the world, you discover that it's an evolutionary system. And what we have failed to do is to evolve along the line of our democratic evolution as well. And so we are stuck up with this paper balloting system. Why can't we transcend to digital balloting system? Why can't we? I mean, in the last election in the US, what we noticed was that what tilted the scale of victory for Joe Biden was not the paper, was the mailing system. We don't have that. We'll never even tinkered with that. And so I believe that we need to look at the system critically. We need to engage the system, and the research department, that is, if there is one at INEC, needs to critically do their job. And I said earlier that I think they're a bit sluggish, they're a bit sloppy with their system. They need to do research. Go out there. How many of them have gone out to the electorates? Of those who have failed to come out to vote, do they even have the biodata or the database of people who have voted and those who have not voted? If you have those, have you been able to inquire or carry an inquiry to find out why are you not voting? If you're of voters' age. I mean, now we are talking about people who just turned 18 from the last election till date. None of them have been captured. Why? Because you have a closed system that says that you open the registration portal or voter for people to register only when we are inching towards the election. And so these are the areas that the INEC need to look at, and not to bug themselves with more what I would call it. This is frivolities.
All right. Thank you very much. I think you have several points in your analysis just now. Mr. Abba, you are from the digital background. What would you say about this creation of new polling units? Is it what is obtainable now, or the digital voting system should be implemented immediately?
Daniel, I read about a meeting, stakeholders meeting, 29th of January, last month, organized by the INEC. And the issue for deliberation then was the creation of more polling units. You see, like I've always said, until we stop being political and start being human, we will never do anything right. With the level of insecurity in this country now, we are the third most terrorized nation in the world as it stands. If you want to create more polling units for kidnappers to go and kidnap people.
That is not per se.
No, listen, it's hilarious. It may be hilarious to you. But you see, when you fail to lift trees, when trees falls on trees, the first thing to do is to take those, the topmost. You start from there before you can get to the bottom. So said Olarotimi. The issue is not the concern now, like Kennedy just mentioned, is not the people, it is the process. The process is archaic. Since 1959. We have been practicing the same kind of voting system. We are in 2021. You are still thinking of carrying it into 2023. People that were born in 1959 have great-grandchildren now. You are still doing one thing. How do you expect progress? How?
Will that encourage
Let me tell you. No, I'm telling you.
More voters
now,
participation?
this, I'm coming there. Now, these villages you are planning to create voters, polling units. Do you even have access road to these villages? How do you expect to get voting materials to these villages? You want to create more polling units. You see, when you come out to talk about the passion we have for the need to transform our voting system, people feel maybe you want to just make money. No, has gone beyond money making. It is a necessity. We must change the process if we intend to achieve any success in this area at all. The process is archaic, it is malicious as far as I'm concerned, and it is not intending to provide credible election. People are tired of being in the same position year in, year out. Every year, every election year, the number of people casting vote keep going down. In the last election, we have less than 32 million people. In a normal economy, in a normal country, in a civilized country, those numbers are not even enough to elect a president.
Yeah.
But here we are, because of what we are faced with, what we have at hand now, we cannot do otherwise. We are faced with these challenges. The solution is not far-fetched, but people in the place of management have refused to address the actual issue. They keep going round and round, day in, day out. I heard, it may be a rumor, that 300 and something billion is being budgeted ahead of 2023 election. Why do we need such a humongous amount of money to conduct election in this country? Everybody, 70% of Nigerians, if not more, have phone active and using it.
Okay.
Why can't we look for something more realistic, something more credible, something that can really bring credibility into this very important aspect of democracy? I would have preferred we go back to the military junta if we will not do the democracy properly. I'm coming. I'm not saying we should. I am saying that I was growing up, in my growing up years, the military era, things weren't like this. Yes, we had dictators, we have military general come and take over and rule the country, but they have done the country better than the democracy we have right now in Nigeria. The things they have built over the years are even being destroyed by the so-called politicians that we have now. Now, tell me something. These people that INEC gather every day, spend so much money to organize meetings for them, call them stakeholders, do they really speak to the people that really matter in this matter? The political parties, leaders, the few persons you call, few hundred persons you call together, give them food, give them plane ticket, give them hotel accommodation because you want to discuss with them. Is the discussion is really in the interest of the people? Have you ever gone out to ask the masses what they really want? We all know that it is a game of interest. Politics has always been and will always be a game of interest. The moment you take it away from the people, it has lost its credence. So to me, I believe that what is to be done isn't more polling unit. The process has to be changed, needs to be changed, and immediately too.
So you are in line with Mr. Angbo Kennedy.
Very well.
Anyway, thanks for that submission. I think we'll take that report now, and after that, my guest in the studio, plus you out there that is watching us, can give us your own quota as regard the Plan 57 new polling unit proposed by INEC. In addition to what we have already, it has been 25 years since this kind of exercise of creating polling units took place in the country. Is there a need for more polling units, or we should go into digital voting system? Please enjoy the report. In 1996, since then, political bureau INEC plans new 57,023 polling units across the nation. The current configuration of 119,973 polling units was established by the defunct National Electoral Commission of Nigeria (NECON) in 1996. Since then, political bureaucracy couldn't allow for new creation of polling units. It is in this regard that INEC planned to meet with political parties, various stakeholders, socio-cultural organizations for the planned creation of additional polling units across the country for them to adopt as a consensus ahead of 2023 general election. The Independent National Electoral Commission is pushing for the creation of additional 57,023 polling units. It said the initiation is to enable more Nigerians to vote. However, some analysts have opposed the claim that only digital voting system could allow for citizens to wholly participate in voting or making choice of their candidate to lead at all spheres of political offices. INEC called a meeting on the 29th January 2021 with the political parties in Abuja and tabled its proposals to them. It planned to hold talks with socio-cultural organizations like Afenifere, Ohaneze Ndibo, Arewa Consultative Forum, PANDEF, the Christian Association of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, and other civil society groups to secure their support for the plan. And if the stakeholder endorses it, then INEC will create the additional polling units. INEC argued that despite the increased population, the nation's polling units in the last 25 years have remained at 119,973. And one would like to ask if creation of additional polling units will determine population increase or electronic biodata of citizenship. INEC assured, however, that it will no longer allow the setting up of polling units in private compounds, royal palaces, government houses, political party buildings, or facilities that are in dispute. The proposals are contained in an INEC document titled "The State of Voter Access to Polling Units in Nigeria." But why not online voting system and biodata accreditation in a case of areas where GPS network could be a challenge? Though Section 42 of the Electoral Act empowers INEC to create polling units, but we are anticipating an electoral reform that would include digital voting system to suit the 21st century norm and avert electoral malpractices emanating from polling units and wards. INEC proposed three options, however, that 1. Conversion of the existing 57,023 voting points and voting point settlement to polling units. 2. Application by residents of new areas and settlement for polling units. 3. Creation of polling areas in line with Section 13, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. Although INEC said it has received 5,747 requests from communities and groups across the country, the electoral agency said it prefers to convert the existing 57,023 polling units. It claimed that such conversion will be less controversial. You're welcome back. That was a report we have for you on the plan of INEC creating new polling units. I still have in the studio Abba Emmanuel, a digital system, voting system analyst, and Kennedy Angbo, a political analyst, and is a politician too. Doing justice to it, you could also reach us if you want to participate and contribute your quota on the numbers that will be displayed on your screen shortly. But however, let me go straight to you, Emmanuel. You were saying that the idea of creating more polling units is a cake and that we should go into digitalization. But fundamentally, the traditional way of voting, for people to leave the city to go to their wards, there must be polling units. And if polling units are there, like he initially said, some persons in his ward have to cross to certain miles to vote. Wouldn't it be better for INEC to create more polling units in areas far away from the original voting point that people will have to trek to in order to cast their votes? What is your take?
No, we are just going round circle. I asked you a question. These communities, these villages, they intend to create more.
I can barely hear you.
These communities,
yes,
villages, they intend to create more polling units. Do we even have access roads to these communities?
INEC used to find a way, but there is no access road.
Do we have adequate security to protect lives and properties of those conveying voting materials?
You have a point there.
To these places.
We
have cases where students are just graduated, serving their country, being kidnapped and killed in the process of trying to serve their country by assisting INEC during election. Have you provided adequate security? We have less than 400,000 policemen completely in Nigeria. Above in a country of more than 200 million persons.
No, we have a bit over 600,000 policemen.
Have you considered the persons the ones that are dead? Everything is online. Go there and check. You see, we are not ready for what we have. The world has moved past this stage. So if we try to linger in it, it will cause more harm than good. Now, polling unit is important, but we could modify it. We could improvise, we could create a new voting process that people don't have to travel from Kaduna, from Lagos to their villages. I don't have to leave Abuja going to Lokoja or going to Jos because I need to vote on Saturday. No. I can save time, we can save resources, we can save lives, because that period is recorded as one of the periods that a lot of accidents happen due to bad roads and busy highways. Especially in the prevalent issue of insecurity and kidnapping. Now, that is rampant. So it becomes inevitable. It becomes very clear that the practice of our current mode of voting have stayed, have outlived, its usefulness. Yes. So we need to evolve. Don't tell me we are not up to that. How can we grow if we don't try what we have not done before? How can we grow?
Like in America, they have digital voting system. They also have polling units, and people still queue.
Yeah. So if you are around a particular area, you can just go and vote digitally. Just put your fingerprint, your information will come. You vote. You also, they capture it. You also thumbprint for who you want. It all goes to the central server. Everybody is seeing it. Who is voting? Who is not voting?
Yeah, let him interject.
I think we're mixing the two together. Digital voting and polling units are not inseparable. It therefore means that you can still have polling units and still do digital voting.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't want us to confuse the people that once you do digital voting, you don't need the polling units any longer. No, polling units are very sacrosanct. Like I said, they are traditional to politics or to elections. We must have them. You can't scrap them. Even the most advanced democracies have practiced this for 200 and something years, more than 250 years. So we can't remove that. But our point is that why are we fixating on the things that are minor? Why are we not majoring on the things that are major? Like the issue now, when we talk about the essence of all of this is to curb voter apathy.
Yes.
So my point is
And
that
to
what we need to do that
electorate,
people can get involved and vote more and participate in the electoral system and opening up of the space. Now let me quickly talk about a critical issue. There is an issue called redistricting, which simply means that and perhaps during the election period I'm in Benue, I can't vote there. And so you have this conflict. And these are issues we need to begin to look at and find solutions to. They are not focusing on the right things. People should be able to vote. Like Nigerians in
wherever they are.
You can vote. And your vote, and
I've never voted.
They have never voted.
Since 1959
and that is the
in
issue.
this country.
That is the issue of electronic voting and all that.
And these people have huge investments back here in their home country.
Is that part of digital voting?
Yeah, it is part of
when you
digital
digitalize these things are simple. They can be where they are.
There's early voting system.
Yes.
You don't do that here.
Yes.
See. Let's get something clear here.
Yeah.
We are wasting too much time, resources, energy, and personnel
On the wrong thing.
on the wrong things. Now, INEC gathers people and calls them stakeholders. And can I tell the truth? Most times, when people go there, they tend to defend a section and not the whole. And that's what I have a problem with. And so nobody is going there. And if you know anything about the way Nigerian system is structured, when you go and sit in a place and you want to talk about a particular thing, it is always talk back at people. They don't take feedback from the people. And I have a problem with that. So you are saying that you want to create more polling units. That is essentially not what Nigerians are looking for. Nigerians want to be sure that when I went to vote the last election, my vote counted. I went to vote the last time. I was not waylaid on the by hoodlums or thugs from the opposing side. I mean, there was a case in Osun State where people were beaten, people were maimed because they were voting for a particular party and candidate. These are the things that we need to look at. I mean, we still have vote buying. We still have apathy. We still have all kinds of things within the electoral system, and we are not addressing those issues. We are talking about the fact that you want to create more vote. It's of what use. Let me give you an example. There's a particular place in Otukpo local government right now that I know that they have school, but the pupils are not going. There's not enough enrollment into the school, and we inquired and find out what was the reason, and they say that they cannot pay school fees. Certain fundamentals are not there, and that's the reason why people are not coming to the school. But meanwhile, you have built a school, you have a desk and everything, but the reason why you created those things, you have not addressed it. And so we need to begin to sit down and focus our energy on the right things. We cannot be chasing shadows all the time. And that is exactly what INEC is doing. INEC needs to sit down. INEC needs to... See, I think INEC is one of the structures that goes down all the way to the localities.
Yes.
And they need to... Part of what they need to do...
Just the way infrastructure should...
Yeah, part of what they need to do is to ask their people who go on enumeration, when they do delineation of constituencies, and they go into the localities and ask questions. Why are the people not coming out? The chiefs will give you answers. The chief can call their people for a stakeholders meeting, get the information and pass it all on. So let's not begin to do that bottom-top approach all the time. It will not work.
So they call on Ohaneze Ndigbo, Christian Association of Nigeria.
Those people, let me tell you what will happen.
These are all waste of time and resources because they are all politicians.
What those people will come and do? Let me tell you what those people are going to come and do.
To consult
if you invite Ohaneze Ndigbo to come and talk, they will come and defend the position of the Igbos. If you call the Middle Belt people to come, they'll come and defend the interests of the Middle Belt. If you call the Can will defend the interests of Christianity. If you call Nurik or Muslim body, they will come and we don't need that. What we need to defend is the interest of the Constitution and the interest of Nigerians.
Yes.
How do we get that done is what INEC needs to figure out. And if they don't have, they should ask people to help them with that.
Yes.
Well, was it part of what you said, that the interest of the country right now is how people can vote anywhere they are without having to risk their lives?
And the vote counts.
And the vote must have to count.
That's
meaning that despite all these consultations,
they are just wasting time and resources.
Electorate vote may not still count.
It will not. Let me tell you why.
The masses may not still decide who will lead them.
Let me tell you why. The masses has never decided who leads them in this country. From the onset.
No.
We have various reasons to that. Look at that woman that was killed, burnt to death in her house in Kogi State. The PDP woman leader that was burnt to death. Till today, the outcome of that case is still unclear to the Nigerian people and to the world.
No,
just because
there were arrests made.
I don't know. That's why I said unclear. The arrest made.
You don't know that information.
Yeah.
Arrests were made. The people are incarcerated right now.
Fine.
Yes.
You know, but things like that should be made very public.
Those are things that discourage people from going out to vote.
Very, very public. People should be aware that people involved in social kind of behavior have been arrested and they are in social kind of process on this kind of position right now.
That's the work of investigative journalists, the media now.
Now, what I'm saying is this. When the INEC gather people like that and call them stakeholders, most times, you may not believe it. They just call them together to tell them what to accept. It's not actually consulting.
It's directly the narrative.
If you are consulting for election, the right places to go are these communities. You call town hall meetings. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You must. It's a necessity.
All right.
You go round and seek the interest of you listening. You must listen. So all these things, we've lost our bearing. We've lost the essence of leadership in this country, and that is why everything is mobbled up. Anybody can just get up, think up something, and think of how he's going to embezzle money in that light and put it in motion. No, things are not going to be done like that anymore.
All right, we will watch and still see how the electorate are going to react to this proposal by INEC, which is or will be taking place any moment. It will go into the National Archive or proposal any moment. It could, maybe the Senate might not even have anything to do with this. Anyway, audience that are watching, you could see the number displayed on your screen already. 0813-701-5949. You could send WhatsApp message or contribute to us, to the topic from any platform you're watching us, and we will take your reaction here. But while doing that, be civil. But that will be done after this short break.
Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality productions to clients from all sectors of life. We are experts in program streaming, event coverage, news reporting, adverts, documentaries, personality profiling, skits, and jingles. You can advertise now on Television Nigerian network platforms or sponsor programs like The Patriot, Spectacle, Business Daily, Security Dossier, and other programs. To publicize your business from ground state to the zenith, we have the capacity to introduce, promote, and publicize your businesses to increase patronage. We associate with quality to attract clients like you. Television Nigerian is your media solution. For bookings, advert placements, and further inquiries, please contact 080-3071-6959 or 070-3462-5838 or 070-5432-7616 or visit us at the Guzupi Hilltop Mansion, the Television Nigerian House, on the address showing on your screen. Television Nigerian, broadcasts beyond boundaries.
All right, welcome back. we are still discussing the INEC proposal to creating 57 more polling units across the country. And we have a digital expert in the studio, as well as a political analyst, Emmanuel Abba and Kennedy Angbo, respectively. The lines are open for you. I mean, the line is open for you now to make your contribution if you wish to, while concurrently we analyze in the studio. Mr. Angbo, you made a point of making priority. We just have less than 10 minutes to go, so we make use of this time, putting priority on the things that are necessary, like ensuring that wherever somebody is resident, he should be able to vote. And Emmanuel said that, yes, that will save life, save cost, and also ensure that people's vote counts. Do you think that if INEC harmonize both this demographic voting system and polling unit voting system, the electorate's vote will count at the end of each electoral process?
You know, Dan, the problem with us as a people is that we like to complicate things that are simple and rather than simplifying things that are complicated, that ought to be complicated.
Yes.
What I think we need to do is take a holistic analysis of the previous elections. I mean, since 1999 till date, we don't need to go too far, and ask where are the areas that we need to tinker with and where are the areas we need to improve upon. Nobody has done that. Let me give you some quick examples. In the last elections, you notice that some polling units, the results didn't come, even when the results were ready. I can give you a case in point. There was a particular, in Ohimi local government, a case
of Benue
State. The results were ready. The returning officer who ought to pronounce the results sat on the result because he wanted to favor a particular candidate. That is one case. A second case is that you notice a point where results is announced at the polling center or the collation center and say, this is the result here. And by the time it is transmitted, the result changes. What have we done to change those things? Those are the areas we need to look at, rather than to spend our energy on the things that, like I said,
and not only energy,
like I'm saying,
a whopping sum of about 300 billion in proposal.
Like I've said, I am not against polling units or enough of them, but let's focus on the right thing. Let's not fixate on the things that will reduce the potency and the validity of our election and of our electoral processes. People want to see that elections are credible. Nobody is afraid of standing in the sun. Nobody is afraid of going to register. But people are afraid that after all of those things, that their votes don't count. That is what matters to Nigerians.
All right. You have any last words to say?
Yes, I actually wanted to ask. Do you remember when the voters card was introduced in this country?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
A bit long.
Over 10-15 years now.
Over a decade now.
Good. Are you aware that less than 50 million Nigerians are the ones holding that card right now, till date?
I think I'm aware. You're correct.
Good. You see, when you dwell on things that are not important, you always do the wrong things. What we should do.
And the INEC is also planning voters registration, new voters registration.
You don't need anything new. Continuous. Just leave that place open. Let it walk in and out.
You see what I mean by everybody looks for how to embezzle money and just leverage on it and keep going. Why do we need a new voters registration? Why? When we cannot even why we are not yet done with the one we started over a decade ago. What are the modalities put in place to make sure that the new one will be effective, unlike the old one? We must think outside the box. We must not always say, the Constitution say this, the Constitution say that. The Constitution even need to be changed in many areas to align with the interests of the people. That's what I think.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. I really want to thank you for coming on Spectacle today, Emmanuel Abba and Kennedy Ambo.
Thank you, Dan.
Pleasure, sir.
Thank you very much for coming. And I think my guest analysts in the studio have dished them out for you and to you as well, explicitly and vividly as regard the 57,023 polling unit in proposal by INEC that they want to create. You can react to them as you watch this video. Continue to watch it, react to them, because we are setting agenda from here to the government, and we believe that your voice and your own opinion will be taken as valid. I have been Daniel Atai. Don't go away. I just want to show you our tablet, the Nigerian news. You can extract them online on our online newspaper. And then, of course, you can search that in any platform, the Nigerian news. And if you want to, of course, you want us to advertise anything you want to do, we can advertise for you. If the center spread that you want, the outer cover or back cover that you want, we are ready to serve you. Visit the Nigerian news. We are there on Facebook, on Twitter, and everywhere on all the platforms. Like our pages, subscribe our YouTube, and then follow us always, because we are poised of giving you, news as they come, breaking news as they come. I have been Daniel Atai. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.